Cities are defined by their cultures. Those cultures could entail sports or business or certainly arts and entertainment. Oklahoma City is thriving in all of these areas. But who makes that all happen? This Town OKC explores the people behind the cultures, their origins, their motivations, their challenges, and their dreams. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. I've been in this town for over 50 years with a front row seat to seeing the culture grow from a dusty bus stop on the Southern Plains to a flourishing destination. Join me as we meet the folks behind the culture on This Town OKC.
I brought the banjo I first recorded on when we did that Rainbow Connection thing.
That's the sound of Lucas Ross imitating Kermit the Frog on the banjo. Thank you, Lucas. Lucas Ross, thanks for returning here to This Town OKC so we can continue our conversation. Maybe we can get it right this time.
Well, I've only got 6 more hours of content for you.
Okay.
So.
I tell you what, if you want to pack up your banjo so you don't have to sit there for the next hour with
what,
it on.
You're uninviting me to
I'm
hold
just
a banjo.
I'm just
it's kind of considered a weapon, so I understand. I never get tired of that song.
I'll bet not. Since you were last here,
yes,
a national television audience got to hear your banjo playing while watching Kermit the Frog on camera.
Yes, they did a 50th anniversary, essentially a special kind of, they're calling it a backdoor pilot. Now, why you need to do a new pilot of a very successful show that was at kind of the peak of its time back in, I think when it went off the air in 1980, 81, with 120 episodes. But hopefully it's going to bring some more kind of a resurgence in that. And I did get to, let's just say I provided some banjo tracks, but when I heard it back, it sounded just like Kermit was playing. So I can't.
It did.
I can't attest that that was really me, but yeah, it was pretty special.
And as we record this in the latter part of February 2026, I try to keep these evergreen. But that was such a special program. My wife and I watched it.
Oh, did you get to see it?
Oh, we watched it. Oh, of course.
It really felt like it was just like the Muppets have still been doing this show for the last 45 years, and they just happened to turn the cameras back on.
It really did.
Yeah.
It was. We just loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Well, it's been really cool to see that happen and to get to watch it from my perspective. I mean, I'm a footnote of the Muppet story, a flipper note, if you will. But I have to give a lot of credit to the Muppets team for, Seth Rogen's group kind of helped produce a lot of things and stuff like that. But there's some real critical players, the Muppet Studio, and Matt Vogel, who performs Kermit, he and Eric Jacobson, who perform Miss Piggy and other legacy characters too, were really among the cheerleaders to get this thing to go. And so I just give them credit. And that's the reason I got to be a little part of it too. And I was actually out there for a taping, and I got to be watching so people were like, what's it like to watch the Muppet Show? And I was like, I was in the theater watching Kermit on stage, and these 2 grumpy old guys up in the booth kept griping, and evidently they show up every night, and they still keep coming back, and they hate it.
They keep coming back. Yeah.
Oh, they were so rude.
And we were stopping the DVR and rolling it back and freeze framing and going slow motion, looking for a little bit of you. Look for the glasses. Yeah. There was another guy that kind of looked like you, but it wasn't. And so we were so proud of you, man.
Oh, man. It was really special, and it was really iconic to get to witness that. They put so much love and care into that. They found the blueprints Jim Henson had kept from their productions had kept from the original, and they rebuilt everything as much as they could, especially the backstage area to scale. There's a couple props that were even from some other Muppet movies and Muppet productions, and even the actual Muppet Show, the little call box. Evidently, it's a rumor that was Kermit's original, so pretty special stuff.
So for you listeners out there who might not have heard the first part of Lucas's interview, I encourage you to go back and hear how Oklahoma City's own Lucas Ross became the banjo player for Kermit the Frog. It's a fascinating story, absolutely fascinating. So,
should I say now that I made all that up that no, that's really okay? We'll let them listen to it first.
Okay, so now I want to get into what I originally wanted to
trying to talk about for like 6 hours.
Yeah. Okay, so I think Oklahoma City audiences probably first got their first taste of you through Donnie.
Oh, yes. Yes. I've been wearing down the Oklahoma. It was almost about 17 years ago, I think.
Okay.
Just about. My good friend Ryan Belgart,
right.
who and I did movie guy stuff together, and he, I know, crossed paths with you as well. We were working with News 4 a little bit, but I was doing some local commercials. I'd done a national or a regional spot for Taco Mayo. And people at Channel 4 started saying, "You look like that guy in that taco commercial." I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's funny." There's a news photographer that never put it together. He came by one time and he was like, "You look just like him. You're not as goofy looking." I was like, "Thanks." Now do I admit? And I let it go so long. But some of the sales people there kind of formed an ad agency and presented the Donnie concept to Ferguson, and that kind of launched, and they kept playing those. And we shot a lot of them, and then did them in a few other markets in Lawton and Pryor and Ardmore, and even Portland, Oregon. We went out and shot a year's worth of spots in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, good.
And after 1 week, they decided they didn't want them. So I should have got the money up front.
Oh, yes, yes.
And I say this to Gary's credit. Gary is the GM there at Ferguson, who is a real charming person, but he also has longevity there. A lot of nothing against it, but it's a lot of turnover, I'm sure, at car dealerships. And they were kind of known for being family oriented. They have a lot of long-term employees and stuff like that there. And he's so good on camera. He's so charming. And I think other dealers would see that and they think, "Oh, I want to do that too," but they didn't have that same charm that Gary has.
Gary's a good straight man.
He is, and he's so good on camera, and he just continued to get better and better. Sometimes, just getting started with people getting comfortable on camera, we would roll the whole time when we'd practice.
Right.
And sometimes we'd pull a takes when he didn't know we were really on because he was
that's a trick I've used many times.
Well, and then you show later, like, "Hey, look at how comfortable you were here." And but over time, we get to where we were knocking out those spots fast. And people would ask me, they're like, "Is he an actor? Where is he from?" So I tell people, I work at the dealership. We fly him in from LA. He's SAG, and he comes in a limo. He's a great guy. If you ever go down there, and he's been, I credit a lot because that put me on the map in a lot of ways. A lot of people still come up to me asking me about the car commercials.
Now, you mentioned that you were doing some things with K4. What were those things, and how did that evolve into your regular gig on Rise and Shine?
Well, I got hired in the promotion department, and so my first...
What, to go out and sit at a table and hand out tchotchkes?
No, but that would have been... Well, that's the same department that does those things, special events and stuff. No, it was really to produce what's essentially a commercial for the news.
Okay.
The teases and things
promos
like
for the news.
Promotions, commercials and things. And when
the topicals, as they say.
Exactly. And when I came on, they had just absorbed KAUT, which was, I believe, there was a WB and there was UPN. And then they kind of merged later on. But at that time, there was UPN, and UPN was a KUT station. And so I got hired in both. So I'd spend 2 weeks at Channel 4 and then 2 weeks over at the UPN until they were merging under one building.
Hey, you want a little bit of broadcast history?
Yes, I do.
KAUT was originally owned by Gene Autry.
Autry. Yeah, we have his boot prints up on display.
Oh, good.
It didn't last too long. I don't think the idea was like they were going to...
It was all news.
Try to show a whole bunch of old like Western films of his, and that didn't really pan out.
Well, and then it turned into news, I think, and then he sold it.
It was a second PBS affiliate for a little while too.
Oh, really?
43 was.
OETA had the building and maybe part of the signal. I'm not real sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I did a little work with OTA out there.
Oh, really?
In the late 80s.
Oh, yeah.
No, excuse me, late 90s.
90s, okay. Yeah, it's gone through a lot of different things, but essentially because of that, because of whatever merger that was, and the fact that I was just around, they started just pulling me in and stuff. But I used to write the teases on the top. It was like I'd have to go out and I would write a little 30-second, 15-second tease for Linda Kavanaugh to read. And I'd go and I'd write it, I'd print it off, I'd go and make sure that the producer signed off on it, that it was accurate. Mm-hmm. I'd go to Linda and make sure that she liked it, and then we'd go to tape, and I would film her, and then I would go to edit it and realize I didn't have her microphone on, and I'd go back like a idiot and say, I'm sorry, and Linda Kavanaugh would be so kind to me, and she'd say, well, Lucas, you know what? This just gives me a chance to do it even better. I'm like, oh, God bless you.
She's that classy.
Sweetest lady ever. And it was pretty crazy. Sometimes I would write lines like, I don't know, I just put things in there, not to disrespect the situation, but I was trying to think of how could I write this and make it sound interesting? Like it was, the tease was like the lights on Oklahoma's Capitol look different tonight, and we'll explain why at 6. And that's not intriguing. I don't know why. Yeah. But for some reason, I need one more line, and I just I don't know if I've been watching Seinfeld or what, and so I just put in, what's the deal with that? I thought, she's not going to read that. She'll have something better because she's Linda. Yeah. And this is a woman that if you tell her, oh, that was a little bit too long or a little too short, she would say, well, how many seconds? Yeah. And you'd be like, I mean, I don't know, just make it faster. She's like, tell me exactly. Yeah. And I'd be like, I don't know. And she's like, how about a second and a half? And I was like, sure. And she would pause, calculate, and do it exactly perfect. Mind blowing. Anyway, and so I took the form back to her, and sure enough, she looked at it and made it work. She read it like, tonight the lights on the Capitol look different. What's the deal with that? We'll tell you at 6. And I was like, oh my goodness, the power that I have as this 27-year-old. I can write words and the Linda Kavanaugh, the Kevin Ogle will say them. I can make these people say things. I could make Meg Alexander say, Lucas, how'd you get this phone number? Get off my lawn. I don't like the accordion. Stuff like that. So it was really fun. I was like this little brother that got to play in the TV world. And this is a station I grew up watching my whole life. We were a News 4 family. Yeah. And in years and years before, that it had such an inspiration on me. Whenever I was a kid, I think in 7th grade, and I'm sorry if I feel like I'm Did we talk about this in the last one? But
I don't know.
Did I ever say, Galen Culver came out and did Is This a Great State or What on my family, on the Bee Business. It was, my dad will still say this, the only time I ever got up early to go because I wanted the chance of being on television. And that's really what changed it all for me. I had already decided as a very young child that I was an artist, not a whatever this is. Yeah. I was very difficult.
Bee farmer.
My poor dad is going straight to heaven for the heck I put him through. Yeah, Galen came out and did a story on my family, my dad, and the bee business that he inherited. It was, Galen Culver was so cool, and he let me hold his camera and let me ride in the news car, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. And he was so kind to me. And the first project I got when I got hired years later in 2000, I'm coming up on 19 years. Okay. At News 4, my first personal assignment to kind of write, produce, edit, and put on air all by myself was for a children's fest, a children's carnival that Galen Culver was going to be the talent that was out there, signing autographs and stuff. Right. So I was filming Galen. That was my first assignment. And so afterwards I was like, Galen, I just don't know if you remember this, but you came out and did a story. And he's like, yeah, I've done a lot of stories. I was like, yeah, I know you've done. And he's the greatest, not just Oklahoma's, he's one of the greatest visual and storytellers ever.
He is.
And I got to tell him that, and he's like, what was it? And I was like, well, it was the bee. Oh, he's like, oh, I know exactly who you are. I remember all of that because I got stung that day.
That's a memory.
And so it's been really cool to get to work with he and Tara, his wife, and I have made so many good friends opportunities there. But yeah, that just kind of fell into it, and then it kind of led to them putting me on TV because I was handy. And then they're like, well, come hang out and do Rise and Shine. And Ryan and I were doing this little comedy thing on the weekends called Two Movie Guys. And they trusted us because we weren't going to do anything inappropriate to get up, but we were not, we were maniacs, doing crazy stuff, trying things out. And then we ended up winning a local Emmy for a Christmas special. And then everybody's like, oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. You've won more than one Emmy, as I recall.
Well, A few. I've learned if you can make it out of the banquet before they catch you, you get to keep whatever you grab. So all the ones I got were chocolate, though.
We actually share an Emmy.
That's right. You guys produced one of the...
and I'm going to get to that in a little bit, but you and I share.
We're getting closer, Rick. One day we will talk about how we met.
Which I really don't recall.
Which season? What season are you on right now?
Season 2. I'm still very early in season 2.
Maybe we'll tap into it on season 17. I'll still be around.
So how long have you been on Rise and Shine?
Well, Rise and Shine, I was on from the very beginning. We had started Two Movie Guys the weekend before, which was a little 5-minute sketch show that was spread out over the movies on Saturday night on KAUT. Mm-hmm. And then when they saw we were doing that, they were looking for content to put on this new light news, emphasis on the light, and small on the news program that they were doing. And they were like, hey, why don't you guys do the movie reviews? And we're like, we don't really review movies. They're like, it doesn't matter. Just get up there and talk about whatever's out. And we're like, okay. So we were like, what if we went out to these? We started getting like passes to go and screen and we could, go out and present these movies, when they do like the advanced screenings. Right. We're like, well, what if we do the thing where we like film people? So we would go out and ask people what they thought and interview them and we just cut these ridiculous things together. I mean, it was so stupid. And I remember the first time we aired it, we were nobody had trained us. You know how it goes. Everybody's there just trying to get home at the end of the day. And these two guys that have no business being on TV are going to do 3 minutes solid without a script. And we're just talking and we show this thing. And it was just a funny, stupid disaster. And I mean, we had people that were furious writing in like, what? This is embarrassing. What are they doing on TV? There's no reason they should be on there. And I can't disagree with them.
Were there any compliments? Did anyone write in and say, "Yeah,
maybe
these
a little
guys
bit"?
Are...
Well, we did get some. So Ryan had a long history doing radio and worked with Lisa Sykes and Danny Williams doing the morning. He was Ryan O'Brien on KOMA for many years. Okay. And Danny had given him some good advice. Every negative complaint you get, there's 100 people that like you, but they just don't say anything. They just listen. Yeah. And I don't know how exact that is, but it's helped me get through those times. When whenever I start to get any kind of surge of negativity out of the blue, I'm thinking, there must be a lot. I must be out there a lot right now. There must be showing that commercial a whole lot.
If these 5 people have written, how many others have watched?
And that's amped up so much in the last just less than 17 years with social media interaction and how much that's invited. So now that you're asking people what they think, well, 90% of that is going to be negative because who goes out of their way to be like, I really like those Mathis Brothers commercials. And nothing against it. But it's like Mathis Brothers commercials are great. But if you ever asked, and they always wanted to do this with Donnie, they're like, hey, we have this company that's going to give us a free analytical test where they'll gather people together and ask if they like Donnie or not and see how good he is. And I was like, Ryan, no, don't do that. We'll all be out of a job. And he's like, don't you think it'd be kind of interesting to know? I was like, no, I don't, because I know what they'll say. Because no matter what, even if it's funny or annoying or anything, if it's keeping you, back in the days before you could skip past the commercials, anything that's keeping you from doing the thing that you want to do, you're not going to like it. Yeah. You might be able to be like, oh, that's okay. And I would have people say, out of all the car commercials that are annoying, I actually like yours. Right. And that was a huge compliment. Exactly. Now, it wasn't always what I got, though. I'd do like the home and garden show. I'd get to go out, and then I was the one signing autographs. Right. Of course, people were coming to see Kevin and Linda, and they were stuck with me and Ryan, like, oh, really? Okay. Right. Is there any more left from Kevin? Can you forge his name? that kind of stuff. And this sweet little lady walked up to me. She's like, oh, my goodness, Are you that idiot? Are you that dumb idiot from TV? And I was like, yeah, sure. It's a character. She's like, oh, you are so dumb. You are so dumb. You're a dumb idiot. Oh, well, can I take a picture with you so I can show my grandchildren that I met the dumb idiot? And I'm like, yeah, okay. And I get it because I'm playing this character.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And she was very sweet to me, but at the same time, and there would be times that I would get like negative play or hateful emails. There was a woman one time that wrote, my wife hates it when I talk about this stuff, but I just think it's kind of funny that somebody goes out of their way to do this. And this is the world that we're in right now. We have powerful leaders that troll and act so negatively into this reinforcement of this behavior should not be acceptable. And I got an email once when we were doing Two Movie Guys on Rise and Shine, and this lady wrote in and said, the Two Movie Guys are jokes, and that one with the glasses should be put to death. In fact, I wouldn't mind being the one to help choke him out. I mean, that's all but a death threat, really.
Yeah.
So, of course, Ryan, who thinks it's hilarious, engages with her, goes to her Facebook page and we look her up. She's like this sweet, she could have been my mom. She's like a picture of her with grandkids.
Right, yeah.
Jesus crosses all over the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, lady. And so Ryan writes, hey, sorry, we don't really like Lucas either, but thanks for watching anyway. And she responds and she's like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you guys saw this. I'm embarrassed. Actually, what he did this morning was pretty stinking hilarious. Maybe I'll give him another try. I'm like, whoa. And so and there's other viewers that have written in, I won't say who they are, but I know them by name, and it hurts. It hurts. And for people to be like, well, that's just part of it. Well, sadly it is. That's part of the thing. Right. But that doesn't mean it's okay. And I think there's a mixture of, that's part of the business, unfortunately, but it's not an entitlement for people to get to act that way. Because it's sadly part of it, doesn't mean that we get to bash other people. It should never be the case. Right. And so I'm a big advocate on that. And while it doesn't bother so much when it's targeted at me, whenever I've been working for over the years with the greats like Lacey Lett and Emily Sutton and others, if there was ever criticism, and women seem to get it all the time about how they dress or look or whatever, and they're with child at the time, people are saying ugly things about somebody who's pregnant. Are you kidding me? Right. And that I will get up on a soapbox about on air. And I'll call the people out because I want justice for people. If somebody's doing wrong to my brother or sister, I'm going to go swinging. If it's about me, I think it's ridiculous. And I'll kind of engage a little bit. But it hurts. I mean, it doesn't feel good. And if I could say anything, there's been times that I've wanted to just say, forget it. Because I had this fear. What if we're out in public? What if I'm with my children and somebody comes up and cusses me out, which has happened to me before. Fortunately, it wasn't with my wife and kids. And it made me say, you know what? There were some people that were being really ugly to me, and I was like, I think I'm just not going to do this because I can't do it. I'm too sensitive. I'm too tenderhearted, and I'm not that talented. I shouldn't be doing this. Somebody else should, and I didn't want to do it. And I was at the state fair one day, and I was having a really bad time about it. And I was having a good time there, but I was just in a bad mental space because of some terrible things being. Sorry, this is a therapy session. I should be paying you after this.
The bill's it's in the mail.
This woman came up to me and she's like, "Listen," and I was like, "Oh boy, here we go." Because I'd have people come up to me and be like, "Oh man, you are ugly," and I'm like, "What in the world? You can't say that to somebody." I mean, maybe what in the world? And this woman came and she's like, "Listen, I just want to tell you, my mom doesn't think anything is funny." I was like, okay, here we go. And I've had people say stuff to me like, I think you're funny, but my mom hates you. Or my kids think you're, it's just like these weird things. Right. Again, I'm hyper-focusing. I've been treated very kindly, or fortunately behind my back is when they say this stuff. But this woman started with, my mom doesn't think anything's funny at all. And over the past years, she's been ill. And this last year, she was in the last stages of stage 4 cancer. And she never laughs, ever. And we watch you guys on Rise and Shine every morning, and she laughs at least once a day at you specifically. Wow. And she just passed away, and I just want to thank you. She came all the way out because she knew I'd be there, and she just wanted to say thank you because you gave my mom one thing to laugh at the last year of her life before she died. And that's when I was like, okay, God, okay, this is not about me. And if my only reason to be on TV in any way at all was for that one woman to have a good moment of her last year on this earth, I hope I did the best job I could. And those are the things that kind of power me through and also make me realize all this world and everything, it's nonlinear with these opportunities and moments, whether it's Kermit and Linda Kavanaugh or, cleaning up bottles and cans from 2 nights ago at the Banjo Museum when we had a party. Those are the things that kind of remind me, okay, this is about something other than me. And I really hope I did a good job. I'm so glad I was able to do that. And and really it's none of my business to know that. It's so nice that she told me. Right. I'm glad she did because it really helped change my thought. But it shouldn't be my business, I believe. I should be striving to do good and be good and be kind no matter what. But it does help me on those low days.
Yeah.
I'm like, there might be another person out there that needs to have their spirits lifted and stuff.
Yeah.
So off the soapbox now. That was a long one. Sorry.
It's quite all right. I have two more topics I wanted to get to, but you mentioned the Banjo Museum, and I beg your pardon, but that wasn't on my list. So let's talk about the Banjo Museum.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, there's only one banjo museum in the world, the universe, and it's in Oklahoma City.
In
It's
Bricktown.
so cool. Yes, about 400 instruments on display. We have everything ranging from the early pre-war relics and ephemera all the way up through bluegrass and folk and current nostalgia and pop culture. We have Steve Martin's banjo right now from his Wild and Crazy Guy years.
Yeah. What a get.
We have, and over the years we've been able to, it's been taken a long time, but we've been able to get a Kermit the Frog, an actual Kermit with the banjo prop from the first Muppet movie that they used for promotion of the Muppet movie on display.
And you told that whole story in the earlier interview.
I'll have to go back and listen and see if I was right or not.
Okay.
But anyway, the Banjo Museum is
Why
really
let
unique.
the facts get in the way?
Right, just make it good. I started playing the banjo when I was like in my second or third year of doing Rise and Shine. I was at an audition workshop with, I think, Chris Freihofer, who does acting and casting in Norman. And I remember him saying something like, if you're going to go and be an actor, if you're going to be a performer, you got to have a life. And if a producer or director ever asks you, what do you do? You're going to, as a performer, you're going to want to say, this is what I want to do. I just want to perform. I just want to act. But you have to be more interesting than that. And he says, man, go, if you don't have a hobby, get a hobby. Go get a mountain bike and at least say, I have a mountain bike. Don't lie and say you mountain bike. Just say, I have a mountain bike. And that's like, okay, they're interested in who you are. And at this time, I was kind of teetering about like really wanting to get a banjo. And I was like, that's going to be my thing. And so I got a banjo. It's a really cool full circle with that is Chris helped me get cast in Killers of the Flower Moon because he remembered I played the banjo. So like one of the times later on, he's like, you play the banjo? I was like, yeah, you gave me the idea that I needed to really lock into something that was a little bit outside of this. Now, I didn't know that was going to lead me to a career in the instrument. Now, I would say almost 75%, if not more, of what I do is banjo-centric, whether it's working at the Banjo Museum. I spend more of my time down there.
What's your title?
Guy that broke in. I am currently...
They haven't found how you get in every day?
They've changed the locks. I am their promotion and outreach correspondent person.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
I won't say director until I see more zeros.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's a lot of zeros in front.
Yeah, right.
No, but it's a real special thing.
You want them on the right side of the comma.
It's been a really cool thing. Well, Johnny Beyer, who's the executive director and who's a legendary, world-renowned banjo player, one of the greatest tenor banjo players alive, and he's got a history that goes so far with performing with the greats to performing with the Disney company. I mean, when Dick Van Dyke's brother Jerry Van Dyke passed away a few years ago, Johnny was invited to come out to play, and everybody loved him so much he just became the show out there.
Wow.
There's a beautiful picture of Dick Van Dyke smiling at Johnny Beyer. That's who you need to have on this show sometime is Johnny Beyer.
No kidding, yeah.
He's got some real cool stories, and actually he got to be in Killers of the Flower Moon too.
Okay,
that's a great way to get off work to be in a movie, is if you can get your boss a part of the movie. I'm not giving myself credit for that, but I did tell them. I told Chris and I told the producer, there's a guy named Johnny Beyer if you need a jazz player, and it would be a miss for a Scorsese to do something with that music and not take advantage of the fact that Johnny Beyer is here in Oklahoma now.
Right.
And so that got out of the way, and it happened somehow. So I was really glad for that.
Nice.
My mom was so happy for Johnny. She's like, "Oh, I'm so happy Johnny." I was like, "Mom, I'm in it too." She's like, "Yeah, but Johnny." I'm like, "Okay, I get it."
Of course.
And he's a true awesome guy. And so with Channel 4, I was doing some stories at the Banjo Museum, and my shtick is always like being a Steve Martin super enthusiast.
Right.
And my whole, push was, well, where's Steve Martin in the Hall of Fame? Well, it was a 4-string jazz collection museum to start with, so it was just a 4-string Hall of Fame for several years until they expanded and opened up the doors for all banjos, except 6-string banjos. You get those? No, all banjos, of course. Of course.
Is there such a thing as a 6-string banjo?
Yeah. The first, I think the original Rainbow Connection was played on a 6-string banjo, so it's a little bit lower strum.
Oh.
Yeah, it's essentially a guitar tuned banjo. It has a bigger neck, and so if you play guitar, you can just pick up a banjo guitar and
Okay.
kind of get a little bit of that sound to it, but it's not exactly the same as playing a 5-string or a 4-string.
Yeah.
This is what the listeners and the viewers that are watching this really want to hear. But that led to me doing more and more things with the Banjo Museum, and in time I was spending so much time down there doing extra programs. Their pick-a-tune class I kind of kicked off for them. We've been doing that for 10 years now, which is a free thing that people can sign up to learn the banjo for an hour. A guarantee to teach you how to play banjo in 1 hour or your money back because it's free.
Yeah.
And I've only had to refund 2 people, which I'm not good at math. But over time, I started kind of flipping the time around to where now I do a couple hours of TV in the morning and then commercials here or stuff here and there. And then I spend a lot of my time down at the Banjo Museum.
Nice. Very nice. And how long has that been going on? Well, how long have you, since you've been on staff?
I've been on staff. I'm going on. Well, let's see. It was 2018. So
Okay.
I'm getting there. What,
Yeah. 8 years? 7, 8 years?
7, 8 years. Yeah. But I was doing programs with them longer than that. It's kind of crazy. And with my banjo, they saw me playing the banjo on TV, and I was in a little magazine write-up. 405 magazine did a nice little piece.
Right.
I think they were wanting to interview me and Ryan wasn't there, so they just interviewed me. And then a banjo board member that lived up near Guthrie saw it, and they're like, hey, why doesn't he do some stuff with us? Because he's on TV playing a banjo. And I was like, there's a banjo museum? Okay. I love the banjo, and I went there and I just couldn't believe how it's such a state-of-the-art, but it's not a dusty old collection of banjos that you might assume is and it's understandable when you hear Banjo Museum, sounds quirky, sounds kind of, when you go in, it's a state-of-the-art, beautiful layout, and Johnny Byer really is, he and Margie Smith Robbins, who were the core starters of that museum, along with the benefactors that made it possible, put every fingerprint on there is Johnny's and Margie's. But every light set, every script printed, every picture, every banjo is placed, and there's about 400 on display, and we're running out of room. We need more room.
Wow.
More banjo.
More banjo rather than more cowbell. More banjo.
Yeah. At a Bela Fleck banjo camp I got to go to, they had those shirts that said more banjo on it, like the more cowbells. That was a big
Okay.
deal.
So even though I don't recall when we first met, along the way, one of our daughters created an online curriculum to teach math through music to pre-K kids.
Yes.
Called Alley Dog Connection, and they use a train station metaphor. They had created a character called Connor the Conductor, and in the cartoon drawings, Connor ended up looking like you.
I know.
And
I looked like him. I don't know which. It's like chicken and egg situation.
Well, the drawing came first, and so when they then decided to take it beyond recorded music and get into video, I don't know if it was my wife Gwen or me. One of us said, you need to look at Lucas Ross because Connor looks like him. And
it was crazy, even down to the shoes. He wore the same color glasses and shoes.
Yes.
And there was a little plush doll or something they had as a prototype.
The Alley Dog was a Muppet, basically.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And your brother was involved in all of this.
Yeah, so for quite a while, your wife Gwen and Aaron, your daughter, and Marcus, my brother, and I would meet and talk over at OETA, and they were so gracious to give us their space because I think the whole dream was creating a local kids program that would be on air, and that was a dream for me.
Right.
I mean, I was a kid that grew up on OETA. I used to watch Gwen when she was there begging children
for Sesame Street.
Go get your parents' credit card. Yeah. And this is my personal phone number, Gwen.
And in desperate times, she would say, tell your parents if they don't send in money, we're going to have to kill Big Bird.
Oh, my goodness. So when I got to, it was so cool. And I think that, I believe it, and I don't know what the connection was, because I know Ryan Belgart had crossed paths with Gwen and maybe either took classes or did some work with her. It crossed paths in the radio world. Mm-hmm. And I don't really remember how it happened that I first got introduced to her. But by the time that we were talking about this, she was like, she would start saying, like, you look like Connor.
Right.
I was like, I don't know what that means. But she wasn't telling me I was ugly like other people that would walk up to me. I'm like, no. She's like, you look like this cartoon character in our curriculum. And that was always a dream. I mean, of course, I always dreamt of getting to work with anything Muppet style or Mr. Rogers type.
Sure.
And the education stuff. Really, and honestly, what spoke so much to me was the curriculum was something I wish I would have had access to as a child. I think it would have helped me, my learning. And those things weren't accessible. Fortunately, in Minko, I had some teachers that while they didn't have all the means for things, they were so good, just like so many teachers are. They would see kids, they're like, okay, this kid learns a little bit different, and I'm going to help reach them in a different way.
Sure.
But there were times I wouldn't say I officially was ever diagnosed with anything like dyslexia or any kind of thing like that, but I struggled with wrapping my head around what the question was and how to answer it. And I couldn't take tests even through high school. I'd have teachers, Lisa Schneeberger, who was my math teacher, who I adore, and she would say, you know this stuff. Why did you not do it on the test? And I was like, I didn't know how to do that. She's like, what is... And I'd talk to her, and I would essentially orally take the test. She's like, okay, that's right. You got that right. Okay, we're going to make this right. I mean, that's the only reason I graduated. Wow. So cheers to Minko, Oklahoma, and all those schools, big and small, that have teachers like that really, that's the job, and find that way. So anyway, that curriculum, I think, would have really helped me, and I loved it because it used music. I still don't consider myself any kind of math. I'm not a math person at all, but I'm using it all the time.
Right.
Especially with banjo playing and with the timing of things and learning, all that stuff goes into it. And so to approach it in a different way, to where it's like, hey, here's the deal, here's the number, and this is what we're going to do. And I'm like, well, why? And they're like, just because we told you to. I was like, that's not good enough for me.
Exactly.
Uninterested.
Yeah.
But when you start with a song, and here's this reason for this, well, here's the beats of it, and it makes this thing. We have 4 beats to this, or this song has 5 beats per minute. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those kind of things that are infused in it without ever saying, hey, everybody, we're going to learn.
Right.
Because whenever they come in and say, everybody put on your thinking cap, I checked out, because I don't want to be told I'm going to, and that's what, and I'm a product of the Muppets and Sesame Street in the 80s, when it was like, I didn't know that. I just thought the letters and numbers were sponsoring Sesame Street, because they had to, at the end, that's why they'd say, the show was brought to you by 7 and 8. And I thought, well, 7 and 8 were just paid for advertisement. They're like, no, we were learning. And so all that to say is I was always on board with I think it was Music and Math Connection.
That's right. Actually, it was called All Aboard, Music and Math Connection.
It was a train thing.
And a whole train thing.
Yeah.
And so they developed the fictitious train station, and Connor the conductor and Allie Dog would have these adventures and with Connor, and they would go and learn things and have these adventures, and somehow everything was musical, and there was math involved. And then when it came to Allie Dog Depot, that's when the video started, and that's when I believe you got involved.
Yeah, and then for a little while, Ryan Belgart and some of his team were helping too. So it was also
they were doing the shooting, and producing.
Marcus and I kind of developed the look and style and the feel for the thing. And Marcus had moved out of state, and so I was kind of stuck trying to figure that out. So I was working with Ryan and that ad agency at Boiling Point, and they kind of built a train set. Right. But also we had access, and Marcus and I had already filmed a lot of things out at Oklahoma's Railway Museum, which is a real treasure.
Yes.
Our listeners should go check out. And they were so kind to let us film. What a cool thing. It's like we have these things right here. We have the Abandoned Museum here. We have this train museum here.
Right.
And so it was so cool to be able to film out there. And then by a random, so there's a puppeteer that was from, I think, the Tulsa area named David Bizarro. And he's a great puppeteer. And I had heard rumors that he got to go work with the Jim Henson workshop and stuff. And I knew he had Oklahoma ties. And we kind of were friendly, and we were always, back years ago, we'd always say, hey, we should work on something together, because he knew that I loved doing this stuff, and I knew that he was a great puppet creator and performer and stuff, and I always dreamt of this somehow. And so I reached out to him. I called and I said, hey, I might have this is early ideas, but there's a local group here that have this education program, and they're going to want to create a puppet. I need a puppet performer and builder. Can you do this? And he's like, I don't live in Oklahoma anymore. I'm in New York, and you should look at this guy named Chandler Jackson. Chandler,
yes.
You remember Chandler? So Chandler had gone out to the Sesame Workshop to train for a couple of weeks with the Muppet performers like Matt Vogel, who I would meet later on, that performs Kermit, and some of these other great legacy and great performers out there. And he was this kid right out of high school, but it had a lot of that spirit and spunk of like a Jim Henson, just kind of like driven. and he would just show up with these concept for puppets and things, and I was like, this is great. So Chandler we brought in, and he just got it. He's like, he just has that old soul, that heart of a Mr. Rogers, and the pureness of it, and the comedy of those that classic kind of comedy style. So he would kind of help us with the scripts. He would build all the puppets, do all the artwork. This guy, I mean, made a lot of the look and the style of it, and it meshed so well with what Erin and her team already had put together.
And so much so that the whole cartoon illustration of Alley Dog changed to match what Chandler created.
Yeah, and we looked at a lot of different things.
Alley was an actual Yorkshire Terrier.
Right.
And a beautiful little dog. I used to love to hate that dog. and even now we would keep her from time to time, and whenever a piece of food would fall off the table, she'd be right there. So even though she's, crossed the Rainbow Bridge many years ago, whenever anything falls off the table now, I go, Alley.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So, listeners, if you'd like to see any of these videos that feature Lucas Ross as Connor the conductor, you can get them on alleydogdepot.com. And right now, I'm going to insert a short segment of one of the more recent songs that they've recorded. Here's Lucas Ross singing the Circle Song.
Circles, circles everywhere. They're on the ground, they're in the air. If I just had a friend to share my love of circles, that's my prayer. Then you showed up, what do you know? Your wagging tail, your little bow. It was instant, I knew right then we would be the best of friends. Let's go explore and look for more. There's lots to see out of our front door. I'll write it down right here in my journal. Ain't it funny how life comes full circle?
And the Circle Song, featuring Lucas Ross from alleydogdepot.com.
I love getting to do that. I got to record the banjo track and kind of write some of, we updated that song a little bit to work with a visual. And so the visual is Connor is having a flashback of when he first met Alley Dog. Oh, and this is a special one. This is one of our most recent ones that is just now, it's also airing on weekends on KAUT.
Oh, how wonderful.
They have to show a few kid-centric things, and I found an opportunity to get those on there. So those have been running there.
Thank you.
But
go ahead, and then I need to, no, you finish your thought.
Well, the Circle Song video shows Connor finding a journal, and he was like, oh, this is a journal that she's like, and the dog, of course, asked, well, how long have you been writing in a journal? I was like, always, since the day I met you. Oh, I remember this. And I opened up a page, and I said, this is the day I met you, and all it's on the page is a circle. She's like, that's just a circle. And I was like, no, it is. It's a circle could be anything. So it flashes back to the Circle Song, but it's also young Connor. So my son Simon got to portray young Connor, and we had a little baby Alley puppy.
Oh, how wonderful.
And it's so cute, and I loved it. And I was like so telling Gwen and Aaron, I was like, just reboot the whole thing with my kid. I'm getting out of the way and just let it be this little thing. But so we filmed it out back at the train station.
Yeah.
Now, this is like, we're going on almost 10 years since we first started discussing these ideas.
Yeah.
It just shows how much time it takes to find the right voice and the opportunities, but also like how much it can evolve into what it was. At one time it was a kind of a subscription box concept,
right.
And then it was just solely on a website or just solely for schools or different things, but it's been able to reach different ways, and we're still looking at different opportunities every once in a while.
Yeah.
So, and what's really, really special is I'm still working with Chandler Jackson, and years later, David Bizzaro, who recommended him to me, was like, it's so cool that you guys ended up getting to work with Chandler, because he's a true talent, and who has gone on to do art direction on local movies in Oklahoma and so many other great things with his own show with the Metro Library called Mr. Puppet. But to fast forward and go backwards to that Muppet taping I did out in Los Angeles, when I was sitting in the audience, there were humans, but there were also Muppet characters all around us. And in front of me was this Muppety character named Angelo, who's kind of a background character right now. And I looked down, and David Bizzaro is performing him.
Ah.
And he turned around to me during a take and he said, "Hey, Lucas, remember how we always said we should work on something together? I guess we are." I'm like, done.
There you go. That's great. Well, and it was through the alleydogdepot.com website that, thanks to you and your connection with the Heartland Emmys, Aaron entered that and it won.
Yeah, that
so
was so
that
cool.
was wonderful. We went to the awards and that was just so magical. And then I shot for the next year, I shot some, we call them wraparounds, Aaron introducing these videos, added that to the website. She entered the Emmys again, and we won again.
And that's so cool because you're part of it. You've been part of it from the beginning. The very first day we ever filmed, I do remember this. I don't remember a lot of the first times I talked to you, but Marcus had you as a teacher. You taught some of his script writing classes, adjunct at Oklahoma Christian.
Yes.
And then you came out one morning to bring some things where we were shooting some early almost test footage with Allie and Connor at the train station. And it was Marcus and me and Aaron and Gwen, and you were there too. So it was really cool.
And I brought, I think, bagels.
That's what I was going to say. You brought the most important thing to that.
Yeah, that's what a producer does.
That's it, man. Well, it was really cool to share that. I remember the first year that we were up for it, and it was kind of like one of those things like, who knows? And there wasn't a whole lot of people that, because it can be very expensive to nominate and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so we all kind of threw our own hat in. You know, it's up to everybody, whoever wants to be part of it. But then once we got nominated, some more from the team and from the Music and Math Connection, the Think Tune group were there. And I remember one of the ladies that was on the board said, we were watching all the other things that are up. And the local Emmys are kind of interesting for people that haven't gone before. If you think of the Emmys like what you see on television, it is a part of the Emmys. It's the same. It's under that same. It's a branch.
Right.
But local Emmys, a lot of times, locally, especially in our area, television is news. So a lot of the stories that are getting awards are news stories. And a lot of news is bad. And so sometimes they're talking about like tornadoes and death and all this dismay.
Exactly.
And so whenever you're seeing it, and these people have worked so hard, they're not getting a trophy because somebody died. But it can be very misleading if you're going to the Emmys and they're like, death on our streets.
Right,
and then they show it and then everybody claps. And I remember somebody in your group being like, why are we clapping for this? I was like, thank you. Thank you. And this is dark, but somebody did tell me the first year we won after our Movie Guy special won, this I won't say his name, but you could probably figure out who he was. He came by my office, and he was a news photographer that had won before and does a lot of like storm chasing stuff.
Right.
And it's important, especially in Oklahoma. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, I heard you won an Emmy." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, thanks." He's like, "I've won 5." Like really kind of tacky to me, like big deal.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, nobody died for me to win mine." That's pretty. Is that dark?
No,
I'm not proud of that moment, but it was.
You should be.
But it was it was again, not to take away from the people that do and those are important stories to tell. And getting a trophy is not because of that. It's because of the work that they do there. But for me, I didn't come into news that way. And I talked before about like, I was always, I'm never going to work in broadcast. I'm never going to do that. But and here I am working there. But what I do is solely in the categories and with the intention of this is entertainment that I wrote or created for this. And there are categories for that. But again, whenever your group came in, and I remember one of the ladies that was there watching and then seeing all the other things that were up there, and they're thinking like, there's no way that Alley Dog's going to win this.
That's what we were thinking.
and one of the women leaned over to me and she's like, she'd been telling me that the Edmond Music Shop that they worked with had these like little ukulele banjos, these tiny little, they look like a banjo, but it's a ukulele. She's like, if we win, I bet you, if we win, I will buy you one of those tomorrow. And we won. And I looked at her and she's like, oh my God. Well, I won't say what she said. But sure enough, I went by and they bought me one.
Well, good for them.
And full story, that's the same little banjo that young Connor is playing in the Circle song.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Now, the year that I was involved with the Emmys and we won, that was the COVID year. So we were watching it on a live stream, sitting on Aaron's back porch. Outside.
Forgot about that.
With distance. Yeah. And so anyway, that puts that. But a year before then, you and your family were involved with my annual holiday family radio play.
Yes.
Now, I started writing these for my granddaughters, our granddaughters, in 2018, I believe. I think it was 2018. So they would have been 8 or 9 or something like that at the time. I forget. And I wrote this play for the family. My wife has a radio show on KTOK, and she wanted something family-oriented that she could run around Christmas time. And we had done a couple of them, starting when they were like 5, 6 years old. And then, so a couple, 3 years later, I wrote one called Who Cares About Christmas? And you were the guy who got to say that line.
Yes, I was the Scrooge character.
Yeah, you were Mr. Maney.
Who cares about Christmas?
And the kids called you Mr. Meanie.
Ooh, that was pretty risky stuff there, man.
Yeah.
You were really going for it.
And it was such a family deal. My wife's first husband, the music professor, and the guy who was instrumental in the All Aboard Music and Math Connection, all the pedagogy, and he's written all this stuff and done all the research on all the stuff that educators need to know. Mm-hmm. I'll leave it at that. But he wrote the music, and the situation was kids learning to sing Christmas carols. And so it's with teacher Wanda, played by Aaron, and then your wife was involved. And your kids were involved along with the granddaughters, and so the kids were, the roving band of Christmas carolers, and then they land in your front yard or on the sidewalk, and you don't like them at all. And so here is a short segment of Lucas Ross as Mr. Maney in Who Cares About Christmas?
Mr. Maney, why don't you like Christmas?
I just never have.
But why?
Does there have to be a reason?
Yes, there does. No one just hates Christmas without a reason.
I have my reason.
So what is it?
It's none of your business.
Now, Mr. Maney, since you're the one making a big deal out of hating Christmas, I think you owe it to the children to tell them why.
Yeah, officer, I want you to arrest these kids.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
And why not?
First off, they haven't done anything wrong, and they're on the sidewalk. They haven't trespassed onto your property.
I don't have to put up with this nonsense. I'm going back in my house.
You stop right there, Mr. Maney. You're avoiding telling us something. You started this, so I think you owe us an explanation.
I mean, she has a point, Mr. Maney. Why do you hate Christmas?
I never said I hate Christmas. I just don't care for it. Never have.
So tell us why.
Well, all right. If you must know, it's because of my birthday. Always has been, always will be.
I don't understand.
My birthday is December 24th.
Christmas Eve? That's your birthday? Cool.
No, it's not cool. It's never been cool.
I can see where having a birthday that falls on Christmas Eve could be a problem.
What's the problem? It's double presents.
It's not that way at all.
What do you mean?
No one cares about a boy's birthday when it's on December 24th.
So, Mr. Maney.
Rick, we still quote that in my household. My boys now, my oldest is going to be 17 in a couple months.
Oh, my goodness.
My youngest is going to be 15 in a couple months. But we still, every year, sometime, at least once, it's said, you better watch out. Because Henson was supposed to read, they were supposed to take a line of Santa Claus is coming to town, but he read it as if the kid was threatening somebody, instead of being like, you better watch out, like the song. He's like, you better watch out. And so if we ever sing that song, that's how we say it in your tribute.
Well, good. And I try to remind you whenever Gwen replays it on Christmas, just so that you'll know, it's on AM radio. It's also on FM. If you listen to 96.1 HD2, you have to have a teenager in your house to program the car radio. But
we sat around and listened to it as a family those nights. That it would air. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
And if anyone out there would like to listen to any of those radio plays, they are on the Lippert Media YouTube channel. And there is a playlist of family holiday radio plays.
That's great.
And all of them are out there. They're audio only.
You have such a great appreciation for that, Rick. I love that whole concept. And I know you've worked on a lot of productions with Carpenter Square and different things where you would do the readings or that feel of of the radio plays. And man, it's funny because for a long time, I'm sure people thought about like, well, that's of days past. You know, we don't do that anymore. That's all podcasting is now. And still, wait, don't tell me. We listen to a live audience and we imagine what's going on there in such a way that it still rings through. There's something that's really, really special about that. So I love that you're keeping that art form
I'm
alive.
trying. I'm doing what I can.
It's really cool.
Hey, my computer is telling me that I'm about to run out of batteries.
Oh,
and even
right.
though I have the power supply over in the briefcase, I also looking at the clock, and we're running out of time.
Oh, I was just getting ready to tell all my secrets to wealth and happiness.
We'll have to have you back for part 3.
Okay. Man, you're such a delight. I will come back as many times as you'll have me.
I think I'll just have you back every now and again just because it's so much fun just to chat with you.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. And thanks to all your listeners for putting up with my silliness.
Lucas Ross, thank you so much. It always is a delight. This Town OKC is sponsored by Carpenter Square Theater that produces 8 stage plays per season. The show is edited by Fred O. Bishop. I'm Rick Allen Lippert. This has been a Lippert Media production.